Welcome to the 2006 National Championship Runoffs. Last year in Mid-Ohio in Spec Racer Ford, the usual frantic start as pole sitter and 03 gold medalist John Black went to the lead. On lap 3, Joe Colasaco, who qualified second, pulled an inside move on the back straight and took the pass. A little bit further back, Jeff Barrow gave Bob Breton the old chrome horn. Mike Miserandino then slipped by Jeff Beck and picked up a spot, but Beck would get back around and ended up finishing fourth. And a big moment here for Johnny Humphreys and Jack Donnellan. Later, 03 gold medalist Jim Marinangel caught a curb and spanked the barriers hard. But at the checkers, it was Colasaco taking his first national championship with Black and two-time medalist Richard Spicer close behind. For Colasaco, the win was very sweet as he spent the closing laps of the 04 runoff watching from a sand trap. In Spec Racer Ford, with all of the cars being virtually identical, it's all about the driver. And there are certainly some stellar ones in this class. Brian Schofield, for example, won the Southeastern Division this year and won the June Sprints. He is on fire this season without question, as is Mike Miserandino, who won the Southern Pacific Division with 5 wins. He had a 5th last year. He's looking to step it up. And a veteran in this category is Jeff Beck, the Central Division champion, but his best finish is a 3rd in 2001. He'd like to find the top step of the podium this year. Another divisional champion that has to be strongly considered is former pro driver Chris Funk. He won his division, and it was the Midwest Division, which means Heartland Park Topeka is a track he's raced on frequently, and he won the June National. Track knowledge may play a major role for Chris to have success today. Or John Black. He was only 2nd in the Northern Pacific Division with only 2 wins this year, but he was the gold medalist in 2003. He can make that season all come good with another gold today. And speaking of track knowledge, Ron Lentz is the guy who finished 2nd to Chris Funk in the Midwestern Division. A lot of time here at his home track, Heartland Park, Topeka. If track knowledge makes a difference, look for Ron to be up front. As a driver, you thrive on competition, and you want the competition to be equal when you get to the national championship. Well, in no class is it more equal than Spec Racer Ford. All the cars powered by identical engines in identical chassis and running identical tires. That means the driver shines, and today it's Spec Racer Ford at the Runoffs for the first time at Heartland Park, Topeka in Topeka, Kansas. Great to have you with us, everybody, here on Speed for our coverage of the Olympics of Motorsports. I'm Greg Kramer. Dan Bates joining me here in the booth. Down in the pits, we'll have Jim Trato and Mike Johnson. And Dan, let's take a look at this track. Heartland Park, Topeka, first time the Runoffs are here. And at the end of a day like this, it's a track that's well used.
Yes, it is. In turn 1 and turn 2, there's a lot of oil down, a lot of debris from some of the other races. Also, the same thing in 8 and 9. A lot of debris. If you're offline there, you're in big trouble. A little bit of passing going into 10 and out onto the front straightaway.
And getting that run on that front straight can be key. A lot of action in 1 and 2. Now let's talk a little bit about the sports racing classes, specifically Spec Racer Ford.
This is a purpose-built sports racer, open cockpit, closed car. All the engines are the same. Basically, like you said earlier, it's just a battle about the drivers.
It's all about driving, and that's what makes it so exciting. Let's find out a little bit more about this class and its drivers. Let's get down to our pit reporters. Mike?
Well, Greg, you were talking about how track knowledge is so important here in a class that's so tight. The fastest qualified driver locally is in 5th place. The top 4, all from the West Coast. This driver here, TJ Acker, qualified 4th, but he had to make a gearbox change this morning after the morning warm-up. They've had problems with it all week. They said, you know what, we can't take a chance. Let's put a new gearbox in. He's had a best finish, was 3rd in 2004. He said he definitely came here to win. Over to my partner, Jim Trato.
My 2-time national champion, Richard Spicer, came in this week with high hopes. He, again, was trying to get back on the podium. Unfortunately, a right rear wheel bearing has really cost him a lot of time on track. They discovered the problem only Wednesday evening. He gained 4 spots on the grid today to get the 14th. He comfortably said, you know what, I think a top 5 is a realistic goal for us today. He should be fun to watch.
He should be spectacular to watch. He can certainly get it done. There is no doubt about that. And we're looking forward to some fantastic action as the Spec Racers are about to set sail and put on a spectacular show here at Heartland Park, Topeka. Spec Racer Ford National Championship coming up. Welcome back, everybody. The Spec Racer Fords out on their pace lap, getting ready to get this one started. It is a huge field, so we want to get you right to the starting grid. It is a big one, and one of the gentlemen that we visited with right at the very top of the show, there he is, that blue number 17, John Black, is on pole. He had the silver medal in pole last year, so this is his second consecutive runoffs pole in Spec Racer Ford. Mid-Ohio last year, and right here at Heartland Park today, Mike Miserandino and Todd Harris. There next up, TJ Acker in fourth, Chris Funk. I mean, this is a just incredibly deep field. Matter of fact, when we get to the next page here, there's going to be a couple of guys. One of them is Brian Schofeld, and he is the Southeastern Division champion, 3 wins. He qualified only 18th. The silver medalist, or guy who's had a silver medal, is Lee Fleming. He's well back there. And then in 23rd spot is Jeff Beck, the Central Division champ. So it is very deep, very intense, and a big field, Dan.
Yes, it is a very big field, and the start's going to be very important. Actually, I talked to Mike Miserandino, and he said TJ Acker said he would follow him through turn 1 and not mess him up. So, you know, these guys are all trying to work together because they've seen some of the other races in turn 1 and the excitement.
Absolutely. It's a good plan, and we know turn 1 and 2 are very slippery right now, so a good plan. Let's check in with Jim Trado.
Well, Greg, talking about guys who are good that are maybe having their hands full, really trying to get to the front, is Jim Angel. He's the 05 car. He starts back in 26th position. He won the last runoffs held at Road Atlanta, so he knows how to win championships. Going to use that experience to his advantage here today. Now to my partner who was in that race in 1993 at Road Atlanta, Mike Johnson.
That's right, I was in that race, but I want to talk about that California contingency again in 00 Lee Fleming. Everybody knows how great he is, how fast he is. He was here about a month ago, put the car in the wall, and left his truck and trailer here in that race. Came back later, tried to fix it here, never got it right. He was quick on a test day when it was 100 degrees. It's been so much colder since, and now his car is just undrivable, he says. He actually put the setup on TJ Acker's car, so he knows how to make it go fast, but he just can't get his car to perform.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Maybe there's still something just a little off in that back in 17th. You never see Lee Fleming that far back in the pack. And as we were talking about, for Jim Angel, had that big crash at Mid-Ohio last year, so he's struggling just a little bit as well. There's a good look at Jim back in the order, and much farther back than you normally see him, qualified in the 26th spot. But he is awfully quick, and hopefully we'll be able to see him put on a great march up through the field. Now, these cars identical. We heard about that gearbox change, Danny. These cars, a lot of those components are sealed from SCCA, aren't they?
Yes, they are. The engines and the transmissions are sealed. If you get a new one, it's no problem. As long as you get it all bolted in correctly, you won't have any issues with it. They all have test beds for them, and everything works. They run the engines on the dyno. When you get them, they're ready to rock.
And they're Roush-built engines, too, so obviously these guys know how to, these engines are very sturdy, well-built, and strong, so we're expecting a great race. And this huge field coming through the last turn, pace vehicle is in. There's John Black, that blue number 17 on the inside, Miserandino on his shoulder, and wheat green, and an early green at that. And boy, Miserandino, and look who's right behind him, TJ Acker going, come on, buddy, I'm going to push you right into this. And it's a good enough start that they're going to go into that first turn, 1-2. That strategy played out beautifully.
Yeah, it did. It looks like TJ's under attack, maybe 2-3 wide there. Looks like they made it through clean. All the rest of them nose to tail.
You can see all that junk offline from that one camera shot, and everybody screaming through 1 and 2. A couple of guys running way wide, but everybody gathers it back up. Black gets shuffled back to third, and Chris Funk has moved up a spot into fourth. And then look at this, just this huge battle here. That's Scott Goolsby in that orange Spec Racer, and they're working, but Miserandino leads them through turn 4, and now the whole field streaming up and heading into turn 5. The interesting thing is going to be turn 6, where it gets real tight.
Yeah, it really tightens up quick. It's the slowest turn on the track, and we got to go backwards here.
Oh,
Looks like it might have had a little help there.
you think? Just a little nerf there, and he got it gathered back up again and is underway. That's the number 36 back in the order a little bit is Kelly Toombs, and too bad for Kelly, obviously, but you're back in that pack like that, things accordion up and things like that are going to happen. Look at this, 2 abreast, this field 3, 4 abreast now as they come down into the hairpin here on the back straight. Of course, that gives everybody behind a chance to really come up, and boom, boom, boom. There's some NASCAR bump star drafting.
Yeah, what happens is one guy makes a small mistake, 3 guys run into each other, and now they're spreading out 3-4 wide.
And a good start by Wade White, that bright blue spec racer that just went out of film. He ended up moving up a couple of spots here, so doing a nice job here. Look at this scrum once again, coming down into turn number 11. Very tight, and they're still side by side.
Man, I can't believe they haven't got into single file, but they're just, every spot counts, and nobody is given an inch.
Well, the problem is somebody's going to lose an awful lot of momentum trying to get onto this front straight. And in these cars, you just can ill afford to do that. Ooh, boy, it looked like the 91 may have even, Nick Evans may have even nicked the wall. He ran so wide there, trying to find his spot once again. Look at this, here comes the 24. Todd Harris trying to make the move. Harris working over the number 15 of Jordan Gore. We got a change for second. That is the number 17 of Black. He got passed momentarily and then has fought back to it. And the 62 of TJ Acker drops back a spot again.
Yeah, Black's start wasn't great, and it looked like TJ just got a little bit messed up at the end of the front straightaway, and Black was able to go by him. And then look at White. White's right on him and Funk.
Remember, Black started on pole, so surprised. I think he was a bit surprised to find himself third going out of the second corner. And White is the guy. He really looks to be on the move. That bright blue car, again, started in the 8th spot, and he is going right now, trying an outside move for third. Ooh, he had to get out of it right there because the 62 of Acker, I don't think Acker realized he was on that right shoulder.
No, he didn't, and he just pushed him out to the shoulder there. That's an optimistic pass on the outside of turn 6 there. Nobody's done that yet.
No, but he did get a great run through 7, and here comes Wade White. That car is hooked up very nicely. He is by the 62 of Acker and takes over that spot. And a new component for these cars this year is Goodyear tires. They've run on a spec tire, but these are Goodyear tires, and they're a bigger tire than these cars have traditionally run on. And it's taken some of these drivers a little bit of time to, one, personally as a driver, get adjusted to the tires and also get the car set up.
Yeah, it really seems like some guys have just put them on and figured it out immediately, and like Lee Fleming and those guys were struggling with them. It's a lot bigger front tire than they've had in the past, and it just takes a little bit of time to figure out what you need to do.
Now, one of the things that you have to do in these races, obviously, the tires are the same for everybody, but not the setup on the cars a little bit. You can adjust. It's not a lot, but there's some. But those tire pressures, and we keep talking about that, and they qualified in miserably cold weather. This is the warmest it's been for these guys since they got here.
Yes, it is. You have to adjust your tire pressures for the temperature of the day. And a lot of these guys ran here early in the year, but it was 80, 90 degrees. Now it's 60. You know, they got a plan, but it looks like some of them hit it really well.
Yeah, and 62 right there. TJ Acker struggling after helping out beautifully with Miserandino on that start. It's gone miserably for him, and he's dropped back a couple of spots. Now it's Chris Funk, and that orange number 54 was able to sneak by Acker and has pushed him down a spot. Now Funk runs in 4th. Acker is 5th. And the 24 of Todd Harris having a good run and up into that 6th spot. A lot of racing yet to go in Spec Racer Ford. Stay with us.
Welcome to Computer 101 Radio. My name is Mike Steele. This is your opportunity to learn a little bit more about computers and technology.
That's exactly what Mike Steele signed on this morning before the race. He was live on the broadcast to get people more in tune with computers, but you're now focused on being in tune with this race car, Mike. Talk about your passion of radio and how it's led to your passion in racing.
Well, my dad started taking me to the June Sprints when I was about 8 years old, had the opportunity to meet Mark Donahue, which is why we've got the number 66 on the car. He had mentioned to me, hey, do well in school, maybe someday you can race. Here we are.
It's a great story, and he wasn't quite where he wanted to be in qualifying. Qualified 32nd, which puts him well deep in this pack. And as you can see, this is not so much a pack of cars. This is a swarm, is what this is back in this area. He's running in the 30th spot right now, so he has made up a couple of spots in the early going. But tell you what, when you are this deep in the pack, these passes are very, very tough to come by because everybody fighting for every conceivable piece of track. There's a look at the 00 of Lee Fleming, and Fleming has now come up to 22nd spot, so he's dropped a bit. Started 17, and he got bottled up a little bit, and he has slipped back just a little bit in the order right now, and that's the nature of the beast here. There's the 81 of Shear as he's trying to make things move here. It's just some tough racing, Dan.
Yeah, here goes Fleming down the inside. Looked like he got a good run out onto the front straightaway. Nice clean pass. A little bit wide there. Somebody spun up here in the car 65.
Oh, Spicer! That is Spicer, the two-time gold medalist who had qualified, as we talked about, back in the order quite a bit. He qualified 14th and already fought his way into the top 10, and it got away from him. That's going to cost him dearly.
Yeah, I think he was up to 7th And you can see he just got inside there. Looked like he might have got run out of road a little bit there, and off he goes.
He at least got squeezed.
Yeah, and it's a tight place, and the track's really dirty over there, and no grip.
And now he's going to be really dirtied up, those tires and the legs, so struggle there. And look at the battle up front. Miserandino hanging on, but John Black is right there. Black, the pole sitter, so you know that car is fast, but Miserandino was outside the front row. So right now our two top qualifiers are leading this race and putting on a great battle.
Yeah, these guys get to race week in and week out. They're both from the West Coast, and they know each other. They know each tricks and trades, and Miserandino is doing a good job here keeping in front of them.
Now those three cars behind them, what they're hoping, led by White, Funk, and the guy who qualified third, Harris, those three cars behind, they need to work together right now and hope that these two guys up front end up fighting each other a bit, Jim.
And Mark Ballingy is the man behind Miserandino's efforts. And Mark, it's been a 4-year relationship. It's certainly a pleasure, I'm sure, for you to watch him up front. What are your thoughts and emotions now as he leads his whole train down the front stretch?
It feels great. Mike's a good driver. He's been with me 4 years. Just when he could get his license, he started. He beat us his first race, and we're just like family. It's fun. The people we got here, it's just fun racing.
Guys, he's standing still for now. We'll check back in to see how many pace laps he'll make here on pit wall.
One thing about Mark is he's an almond farmer during the week, and he helps work on this race car during the weekends.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. He's enjoying a couple of different lifestyles, if you will, from farming to racing. That's a little bit of a different mode change, I would think. And we are seeing Black. Boy, is he throwing that car around. And if he can really hound Miserandino and get them offline, these three, Funk, White, and Harris, are going to be looking for it. Look at Harris trying to get down underneath White. Got him offline a little bit, and then you can see right there, Chris Funk immediately gets a car length. Again, this class very momentum driven, but what these guys want to do right now is work together, I would think, Danny. I mean, really try and draft each other, try and catch those guys up front.
Yeah, they really need to work together. The guys in the front are getting away. They're going a few, maybe half a second quicker. If Funk and Harris and White can all work together, they could probably catch up.
Right, Harris, the black card. He was the one who got the worst deal in that start, qualified third, now he's fifth. Mike?
Yeah, I'm down here with Mark Funk, who's Chris's brother. Chris, this is your home track. You're not gonna let these California boys push you around, are you?
Oh, it was just, luck of the draw, qualifying times. It was anybody's guess, and they're real good drivers. The only thing that I can hope for is that Chris can pull off 18 laps consistent, and maybe they won't be able to.
Well, he's done that a lot. He's won a lot of Midwest Divisional Championships, and my very first race ever was against Chris. We were on the front row together. We went into the first turn. I took him out, and he comes up and he goes, "Was that worth it?" And I kind of, as a punk kid, said, "Yeah, I think it was."
And you know what? He's got a memory, so it's good you're on that side of the pit wall right now, Mikey. By the way, you were talking about how close it is. The top 10 were covered by almost a second. That's how close this racing is right here, right now. And it is some great racing. And again, that is Breton, number 51, and he is leading. Oh, we got a new leader. Nice move by John Black. He had feinted that the lap before, and I think he saw something. And again, I've been watching Black, Danny. He's been throwing that car around, but it's working for him. He's fast loose right now, and he just sort of drove it down underneath and held onto it.
Yeah, Miserandino started getting loose, and he could see it. And right there, he just can't hold it down, and Black went right by.
Take another look at it. Watch it from the downhill angle.
Oh, yeah, up over the hill. Black down inside. Just got a better line there, and Miserandino didn't have any choice.
Watch here, but watch how loose Black is when he turns in. There's a skate, and watch this.
It's amazing he was able to keep it on line there and just hold him off.
Well, he's got great car control. So our pole sitter, John Black, back on point. He was silver last year. He was gold in 03. He'd like to get another gold, obviously. But boy, I'll tell you what, there's a hungry pack chasing him down here, and there's a lot of racing to go. The Olympics of Motorsport are under contest at Heartland Park, Topeka for the first time as the Runoffs visit this beautiful facility in the heartland of the Midwest. And the action today for our national championship competition in Spec Racer Ford. And as you might expect, it is furious and is being furiously contested right now. John Black has fought his way back after dropping back to third from the pole in the early laps. is now back in the lead, but Mike Miserandino, that white number 11, is tucked right in and not letting him go. Behind those two are 3 cars having a great duel at this point. Miserandino moved over, and Black feinted to the inside to block him. When he realized Miserandino wasn't going to try anything, Black went right back to the outside line and the quicker entry to that corner. So Black living in his mirrors a little bit, but making it work. Miserandino dropping a tire there. That's not going to help. Then those 3 cars behind, they still, even with all the dicing up front, the position change, Dan, have not been able to catch these guys. It's still fun. Harris, though, has gone around White. Remember, Harris qualified 3rd, got shuffled back. He is coming.
Yeah, Harris is coming. He actually set the 2nd fastest lap right now. Black just set the new lap track record, I guess.
Race lap record, you betcha. Then it's Robert Breeden right there in that black car with the yellow fenders on it. He is now running in the 6th spot, and right behind him is the 15 of Jordan Gore, who's having a very good run. He was 2nd in his division, the Southeast Division, with 3 wins. Breeden, the Northern Pacific Division champ. So obviously these two guys, a lot of wins between them in the divisional championship season this year, and now they're trying to get in the hunt for this national win.
Yes, they are. These guys are having a really, really close battle.
You can see right now that there's pretty lonely on the track. They're a ways behind White by about 3 seconds, but they have about 3 seconds behind Gore back to Yuha in the number 4 entry. That's a good run for Bill Yuha out of Bear Valley Springs, California. Let's see here, Breeden. Well, you can't even see Gore tucked up behind him. So Gore's looking quite quick. There is Yuha all by himself. And then following him up is the 61 of Schofield. And Schofield also was kind of buried in the pack. Remember, he started 18th, and Schofield now up to 9th with Defonce right behind him. Evans in 11th spot, Ayers, and Goolsby, who had that early off, he has joined this group as well.
Yeah, it looks like Goolsby's picked up a few spots. He was back in like 18th, 19th, so he's passed 4 or 5 cars here.
Yep, 79 is Goolsby right there, and then right in the middle of this scrum, there's the 91. Watching him is Evans. 19 in that mix is Defonce. There's the 61 that we were just talking about, Schofield, who really is the guy on the move. He's made the biggest gain, I think, in the race thus far. Spicer may have been with him on that until he spun.
Right. It looks like he's pulling away a little bit. The 91's just holding these guys up just a little bit. But nobody can get away, as you can see.
Nick Evans, very, very effective in Central Division this year. 3 wins in that car, but just not able to do anything with the guys in front right now. And there's the number 19 of Derek Defonce, having a very solid run right now. This is his first runoff, so you've got to be pretty impressed with what he's doing here.
Yeah, he's really hustling this thing around.
Ooh,
and
big.
Seven's making a big move there.
Yeah, Trey Ayers just getting up and underneath. Goolsby was actually behind him and got alongside him, got by him, and then Ayers said, nope, not going to make that easy for you,
right,
and fought back strongly. And the number 9 of Eaton tucked right in behind those guys.
Yeah, what that did is it slowed him up just a little bit, and the 9 just jumped on it. He just got a good run through here. We'll see if he has anything.
Mark Eaton, that's the 3rd car in queue here with that red nose. He's been watching these two guys, the 79 of Goolsby and the 7 of Ayers, fighting over it, and he's just laying back and wait, hoping that they get together, make some sort of mistake. I think he's the quicker of the cars right now. Locked up, he had such a good run on him. Oh, and there's the opportunity right there. Goolsby got in too hot. It was Goolsby who locked up, obviously killed his momentum. Right by him, and a nice move goes Eaton.
Yeah, you can see just a small mistake like that, and got the wheel locked up, and he just drove right by.
So now, making that pass though, and with the bit of lockup by Goolsby, Ayers now, that number 7 has opened that margin up just a bit.
Yeah, actually Eaton has just run a lap close enough to be in the top 5.
So he is definitely hooked up, and again, making the cars work after they had the problems with the weather earlier in the week. Some of these guys who've got those tires pressures right, got the suspension working, are on the move here in the early going. It's still John Black leading over Miserandino and Harris. Welcome back to the Spec Racer Ford Runoffs. Just joining us, well, here's what's happened so far. At the start, the two guys that said they were going to work together did so beautifully, and Miserandino with TJ Acker pushing him along, moves into the lead and past the pole sitter, the 17 of John Black. But John was on the move. He quickly gathered it up, shot by TJ Acker down into turn 1, and picked up the 2nd spot. He liked that move so much that he was able to stay with it and start running down Miserandino. Meanwhile, the number 5 coming up strong was White. Then 65, a two-time champion, Richard Spicer, coming up from a back qualifying spot. Maybe got a little help and spun off and lost an awful lot of ground once again. Then Black, like that pass for the second spot, decided to lay it on Miserandino, safe place, picks up the lead, and that is where we sit right now. Black now has opened up the biggest lead he's seen. Ooh, there's again that fast loose I was talking about, but he's making it work, and he's got that whole car length now.
Yeah, he does have a little bit. I think that was a pretty sloppy group of turns there, and it looks like his rear tires might be going away a little bit.
The thing, well, there's two scenarios to that. One, if he can still get out of that last turn well, he gets that run down the straight, that's okay. And sometimes when you're sideways like that, you're wide. It's a good defense.
Right, it can't hard to pass when you're sliding it around like that. But once those rear tires get hot, you're going to be maybe a sitting duck.
Hey, boy, Miserandino was thinking about it right there, but he too had that back end step out just a little bit. So Miserandino working those Goodyears pretty hard as well.
Right, it looked like earlier Miserandino maybe got his rear tires hot and got past, and maybe the same thing's happening here for Black.
The story is, though, no matter what these guys are doing, they still have opened up 3 seconds over the duel for third between Harris, White, and Funk at this stage. So they're doing an awfully solid job. Even though these guys are hanging it out there a little bit, they're fast. I wonder if maybe that's not the characteristics that these Goodyear tires can handle that.
It looks like they're really tough tires. Everybody's sliding all over the place, and they're hanging in there. They're running really fast laps right now, and doesn't look like it's hurting them.
Through turn 6, one of the slowest turns, and then it leads into one of the faster sections of the track, so you've got to get out of 6 well. Flat out turn 7 as you climb that blind brow and just accelerate hard toward the bus stop chicane, turn 8.
Yeah, let's see what happens here if he's got a run on him. It looked like he did.
All right, here we go. That is Richard Spicer right in the middle, that two-time champion trying to fight his way back up through the pack. He'd made a good charge and then obviously had that spin we talked about and lost a lot of that, but he's back after it again. The problem is by the time he got it gathered up, he had dropped way, way back. In fact, at this stage, out of the top 20. So Spicer, for a two-time champion, his week has gone from bad to worse, but he's quick. He's turning very quick lap times. Problem is, he's just way, way back in the pack.
Yeah, it just made it a lot harder than he needed to. He just got forced maybe off the road there. It was really hard to see. And when he loses those spots, I mean, you just can't get them back.
Out of the bus stop. This is the one bit of elevation change here that's significant. There's a couple little rises and the like, but that's the main elevation change. And the guys he's dicing it up with, the 18 of Kurt Amanetto. There's the 87 in the mix as well as John Annis. 18 is Amanetto right in front of Spicer, Annis right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like the 65 car there is about 2 seconds faster on that last lap than Amaretto in the 18.
Watch for Spicer. Look at that move. He just squared it up a little bit more, got to the throttle a bit sooner. See if he can get by the 18 of Amanetto here. There is the 87 of Annis, who started 29th, is up to 24th, so having a solid run. Here comes Spicer. Looks like when he went up, he may have loosened up that front end just a little bit. Watch for it. See if he swings out wide here, and he stays out wide, drives right around the outside of Simonetto. What a move by Richard Spicer. There's an indication of why he is a two-time champion. Obviously, just so quick, knew exactly where that car was going to work and where it wasn't. He is going to be awfully entertaining here. As he moves up, that puts him in 21st spot.
Right, it looks like right now he can maybe get to 15th. He's going super fast. His car's got, really good grip. As long as he doesn't overdrive it here, he won't spin out.
Watch this again, Danny. This is just beautiful.
Yeah, the 18 blocks the inside line. He says, okay, I'll try it on the outside, and just drives right by.
Surprised the 18 locked up going, how did he do that?
Yeah, I'm sure the 18 said, man, nobody's passed there.
It's impossible. I got him covered. And you're doing pretty quick math in your head, Danny, to figure that he could maybe get to 15th with 8 laps to go here. Spicer's got his work cut out. Boy, look at 17. John Black, the back end of that car all over the place, and yet he's opening it up over Miserandino. John Black is driving the race of his life right now.
Yes, he is. He's opened it up to about a half a second. He still looks really loose, but he's able to, pull out just a little bit.
Fast loose. Let's see what he turns for a time. This time by his best lap of 56.9, and he's under pressure here, having a great race. We'll be right back to Heartland. Back at Heartland Park, this is your battle right here for the 6th spot. The 51 of the Northern Pacific champ, Robert Breton, and he is under pretty serious attack still from the 15 of Jordan Gore from Vero Beach, Florida. These two guys got to 6th and 7th. They've sat there. There's nobody in front of them, nobody really close behind them. And right now, Gore has yet to figure out the key to getting around Breton, but boy, is he hounding him.
Yes, he is. He's tried everything. He's tried going on the curbs, staying off the curbs for a lap, inside, outside. He just can't make it stick.
Running some pretty good laps, too. I mean, running mid-57s here, so they're doing a great job. And that's a fast lap when you got a guy chasing you and looking inside, outside. You're maybe giving up a little bit on the entry to run a little wide in. And look at that car skate under braking for Breton, but he hangs on to it.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit loose. Doesn't look like they're hustling their cars quite as much as like Black is, but he's able to put the 51 there is able to pull it out just a little bit.
Breton in the CSR performance entry in the number 15 of Jordan Gore, having a great run there. 2006 Southeastern Division, a very solid season, and having himself a run here, trying to maybe, if they can stay with it here and find something, crack the top 5 here in this national championship chase. Problem is, a guy by the name of Chris Funk holds that right now, and Funk has opened up a pretty substantial margin.
Yeah, he's pulled out about 3 seconds on these guys.
Well, these guys, the battle continues at the front. Black and Miserandino incredibly close. Miserandino closing up big time as they get down into turn 1. Black throws it in there, just letting that back end wag. But boy, he gets it rotated, and that car just takes off. Miserandino drops 2 tires, dirties them up a little bit, and they're the right side tires heading into a long left. And that's going to cost him a little bit. And sure enough, you can see quickly a couple of car lengths develops.
Yeah, he just pulls away a little bit. Now the tires are getting cleaned off after Miserandino pulled it back up a little bit. This is a really tough place to pass, though, over into 5. You can gain some here, and you can gain some into 6, but the key is getting a good run off of 6.
Meanwhile, we move a little bit further back in the pack. That is the 14 of Sergio Musacchio out of Rutherford, New Jersey. Runs out of the Northeastern Division, and he's in the thick of things with the number 90 of Nathan Offit out of Clearwater, Florida, who runs in the Southeastern Division. And currently they're running in that battle for 24th and made up 10 spots. Sergio did, started 34th, so a great run for him, but not a comfortable moment right now with Nathan Offit that close behind.
Yeah, they're running nose to tail, all 3 of them. One small mistake here, he's going to lose 2 spots.
Best runoffs finish for Nathan, as you see, was a 6 in 2003, and just had a qualifying that didn't work. And once again, it's important to point out that they have dealt with incredibly cold temperatures and rain over the 4 days of qualifying, and this is as warm and as sunny as it's been at any point. And so if they were a little off in their setup for these kind of conditions, they're just not going to be able to make it up much. John Black and Mike Miserandino awfully entertaining up front.
The last time we saw Ken Tripkos was 30 years ago at the SCCA Runoffs, but that was when it was Road Atlanta. Here we are again, 30 years later, new cars, new classes, new racing, new track. Now, where have you been for those last 30 years?
Well, I've been raising a family, which took about 20 years. I have 2 beautiful children. My son just started racing. And along the way, about 10 years ago, I started racing Spec Racer Fords. And now I have a few other customers who also want me to prep their specs and Pro Formula Mazda. So I've been very, very busy and enjoy the racing. I can't wait till our race starts.
All right, well, 30 years later, technology's increased, but the passion remains the same.
Passion remains the same indeed, and here's a look at Ken having a good run. He qualified 43rd, so ultra competitive field here in 30 years on. He started off in the CSR back at Road Atlanta, and he's certainly mixing some good battling here, but it's a ways back in the pack. But I think it's pretty clear he's in it for himself, for fun. He's helping prep the other cars, but he's in this for the grins.
Yeah, he is. He really loves these type of cars. The sports racers have changed over the years, and he still likes this type of car, and that's what he's running now.
As you can see, a 7th in 1976. So, but look at this. I mean, he is just hounding right now the number 55. That's Frank Stone, who is 3rd in the Midwestern Division and running this track. So Tripko's doing a great job right here. And again, I bet inside that helmet, that smile is pretty big.
Yes, I bet it is. And old Ken's putting the heat on him right now.
Yeah, he is. Oh, look into the inside. Ooh, what a sweet move. Wow.
Got it turned in a little bit early.
Just to
messed them both up there. And
just a smidge, huh?
Yeah, he turned in really early, and man, that caught him off guard.
Yeah, well, it was effective.
Yeah, it slowed them both down.
Used the inside of the curbing as an apex marker and dived for it and made it work.
Yeah, not what you call the cleanest pass, but it was effective. Somebody else up ahead there.
Yeah, creative and effective nonetheless. So here's a good look at Ayers again, number 7, running in the 11th spot. And he's been in it all day long with some great running here, just a mix. And they've moved up a little bit out of Harvest, Alabama. This is his first runoffs, and he is now trying to catch Schofield, who continues his march to the front. Schofield finally now has cracked the top 10 from 18th. So Schofield doing a great job. And in front of him is that number 9 of Mark Eaton.
Right, it looks like he might be able to get to Eaton. Eaton was about a half a second slower that lap. And if they can play it clean, he might be able to get to him.
Another big dust cloud, somebody in front of this group running well wide as they come through. Here comes Eaton. He had a nice season, 9 top 5s, a win, a few more podiums than that, but he has got a very fast driver in Brian Schofield coming up behind him.
Man, he's using all the road trying to keep those guys back there.
Again, I just wonder, one, if it's the tires that they can run loose like this and they're quick loose and they don't go off too much, but also this track is so dirty right now after all the racing we've had. And we had an American sedan race with a lot of oil being laid down, and I wonder if that's not contributing to it. And at this stage, now you look at number 51, Breton here, and this battle that we've been checking in on fairly frequently. If these guys, the only way they can get around the track right now is just to hang the tail out and let her fly, which means there's some brilliant driving going on.
Right, that's the most fun.
When
they're loose, you can drag it around. You just got to try to carry as much speed as you can and get off the corners as straight as possible, and nobody can pass you.
Exactly. And you can see Gore got by Juha. Juha had moved up a spot, and Gore got him back once again. So they're just swapping positions back and forth up front. It's still Black and Miserandino going for the gold. Welcome back, and Mike Miserandino dives down underneath, and John Black has led for a long time, but Miserandino has taken the point away. Black tucks right in behind, and Danny, you gave me a wink when that happened. It's like you knew something. Here's the leader's crew. What do you know?
Well, I talked to those guys earlier today, and it sounded like they had a plan, maybe not to lead the whole thing, and looks like it might have paid off right there.
Let's watch this pass.
Yeah, Miserandino got a good run onto the front straightaway. Black's watching, but he can't do anything. Miserandino just shoves it down. Nice clean pass on the inside. Over the hill, side by side, there's nothing you can do.
He timed it beautifully.
Yes, he did. And he actually forced Black out just a little bit farther and was able to hold him off.
So you think that maybe one of the plans was to get up, whoever was leading, get behind him, presumably Black, because he was on pole, that's what you'd think, and then just make him run those tires off. And we certainly saw Black hanging the back end out, and that can heat those tires up.
Yeah, no, not very many people have very much information on this, and obviously it doesn't look like Black's going to, let him take away, but we'll see what happens.
Well, Jim, what are you hearing?
Well, I'm going to check in with Mark Ballingy once again. Was this according to plan, taking lead this late in the going?
It's so tough driving these things. Those guys are so good. We're here in Kansas, big heart, courage, all that. We happen to be from California, but these guys, they drive good.
These California boys get to play together every now and then, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do. And this is how they play every time. And they're good buddies. And that's what makes it so good.
Guys, maybe Mike Miserandino might add pocket aces on this one. He got the lead late in the going as plans on the team laid out.
3 laps to go, Jim Trado. So the question now is whether Miserandino can draw away from Black or whether Black can stay with him. He has opened it up about 3 car lengths here, but we'll see what happens. Black closes her right back up on the braking, heading down here into turn 1, and Black all over him as they get to the apex there. Black trying to set him up, exiting the corner. So Black is not going to go quietly. We know that.
No, he's not.
Oh, look at this battle, and that is a move around the outside by the 15 of Gore, trying to get around Breton. That gray hooded car, he's got him, but oh, he's way, way wide. Does he hang on to it? And if he does, can he get out of here? Well, Breton going to try and come up the inside, the number 51. Taking a look, and here comes the number 4 of Juha. Looked inside, didn't like that, went outside, but Danny Breton gets to the inside. Now the question is, can Gore just hang on around the outside?
It looks like he might be able to. If they mess up here, Juha might get both of them.
And boy, I tell you what, that was 3 corners of side-by-side, and Gore was able to hang on to it and get to turn 5 first. That was a great piece of driving by Jordan Gore. And look at Breton running way wide there, just trying to stay with him. And Juha's just laying back once again, watching, going, boy, if these guys throw it off, I'm through.
Yeah, and he just made a little mistake there, and he got inside of him. That's going to stick.
Yeah, Gore just ran a little bit wide, didn't get the launch he wanted, and Breton going to come right back by. Now Gore gets the toe, though. Let's see if he's going to try something down into the chicane. There's that little wiggle again from Breton. We've seen that every time he gets on the brakes. That car, the nose of that car, a little bit darty, but he seems to be comfortable with it.
Yeah, I wonder if the toe got knocked out on the start or something. It just doesn't look like it's absolutely comfortable on the brakes. But it's amazing to me as these guys running that clean.
And meanwhile, up front, 2 laps to go. This is the battle for the gold. And the 11 of Miserandino still has black all over it. And there's Mike Miserandino's mom, got the long lens on, doesn't want to miss this moment.
Yeah, this is for the white flag right here. This is going to be key. He's going to have to keep them. He's going to have to block the inside lane if he can.
Well, Black is very good down here. Now he swings outside. Well, we've seen this work before with Spicer. He's out there. They're both sideways. It's a drag race to the apex of 2. And Black got there first, but Miserandino cuts underneath. Side by side, heading up into the carousel. Miserandino comes alongside the inside line, the shorter line. He's there, but Black squares up underneath. If Miserandino floats out on the edge, he's not going to do that. Black lets it hang out, though. He is on the gas. Miserandino running wide, but he's got him now.
Yeah, Miserandino's just got to be careful here. Slow him down a little bit into turn 6. Block the line, and if he can get into the...
Oh, very close. Black over the curb. Didn't lose anything, though, Dan.
No, he didn't. Lost a little bit there. Miserandino's got to get out of here really good and just keep the inside going into the bus stop, and he'll be safe.
They both got out of that fairly equally. Miserandino has the car length right now. That might spell it. It stretches to 2. Stretches to 3. Black needs to be closer. This is not good enough. Black has to come after him hard now, which means Black's going to have to go very deep into the bus stop, close it up. He does. He's now, well, look at that. He made up 2 car lengths.
Yeah,
on the exit, he gives it up again. You bet. Floated a little wide, Dan.
I think that was enough to let Miserandino get away. Doesn't look like traffic's going to play any part of this.
Boy, what a great drive both of these guys have put on. Black's car much looser. And Miserandino, that car isn't exactly stuck, but it's working. Look at him just throw it sideways into these corners. Black doing everything he can. He has closed it up again. It's down to a length.
Yeah,
here we go.
Coming in the last 2 corners, Miserandino's just got to get off of here as straight as he can.
It's the drag race. They're running equal engines. Miserandino right to the wall, carrying every ounce of speed. Black tucks in behind, but Mike Miserandino has driven a brilliant final 3 laps, read it beautifully. The strategy played. He is a national champion. And once again, John Black with a pole and a 2nd place, just like last year at Mid-Ohio.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. He said he was going to wait and keep his tires under him, and that's what he did. And you can see his family just super happy.
Well, I tell you what. Oh, look at this, and it is going to be Gore. He got around the 51 of Breton and made it work. And the number 4 of Juha very close and brings it home in 8th. What a great run. And by the way, Mr. Harris, who qualified 3rd, ends up in 3rd, so he gets a medal too. Look at Mom. She can't even catch her breath. You don't think this means a lot? It's goal time for the Miserandino family in Spec Racer Ford. Juha.
Mike Miserandino running across traffic to get a big hug for his crew. He is a national champion in Spec Racer Ford. Mike Miserandino cannot believe it. He got out and said, I could not believe what we just did, guys. Crew now from the team owner. Now a hug from Mom, Chris. Long awaited. He was looking for the crew as soon as he got out of the car. I'm coming right to you, pal. This is too exciting to miss. What a great run. What a great last lap.
Oh, man, I can't believe it. John is he's a tough competitor, and I thought after he got around the first time that I was going to have trouble getting back by, and he started to slide a little bit. I started to slide a little bit. Just timed it right, and Sean, what a heck of a race. I can't believe it. My mom, my dad, Mark Boungy, everyone, MBI Racing, everybody who's ever helped me, this is for them. I couldn't have done it without them, especially my mom and my dad. they wouldn't really make it happen for me. This is unbelievable.
You finished 5th before at the Runoffs, but this means a whole lot more. Tell us about the pass you made with 3 to go.
With 3 to go, John got loose coming on the front straightaway, and I did all I could to stay right there and draft it out, and he gave me room, and I was able to slip by. This is great. I don't know what to say. This is great. I love it.
Guys, what a happy winner.
Oh, and understandably, I mean, he survived a battle with one of the fastest guys in Spec Racer Fords and proved that he belonged with a couple of great passes. Just incredible. John Black from the pole gets that silver medal. Miserandino's 5th last year was his best finish, so he's loving that moment. Todd Harris gets the bronze. We take a look. Ayers, Goolsby, I mean, some of these guys, Diffons, we were following these guys all race long. It was just spectacular, and Miserandino, he worked up a thirst, no question.
Yeah, he had a tough race, but he held him off.
Let's get back down pit side. There was a look right there at our silver medalist, John Black, who gave it everything he could in a car that I don't think was as good as Miserandino's, and John Black drove it absolutely fabulously. So a well-deserved silver, and again to Todd Harris, a bronze medal. Once again, thanks so much for joining us here at Heartland Park, Topeka for this 43rd running of SCCA's National Championship Runoffs. For Danny Binks, Jim Trado, and Mike Johnson, I'm Greg Kramer. Thanks for joining us once again, folks. And to Mike Miserandino, well done, lad. And I think you've got a great future. Congratulations.